Alrighty, it's Doc from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's 8:30 Eastern Standard Time here on the US of A East Coast, and it's 10:30 p.m. in Tokyo, so we're basically catching it all. Anybody in between here and there. So, and all the way back to it from Frankfurt on. So, let's take a look at it today. Let's see what the dollar index is doing. Seeing another story here and a story there. I would imagine the dollar is weak. We'll go see in a few seconds once I find it. Where are you, dollar index? I know you're here somewhere. I'm just guessing that it's weak. And so, here we go. There it is. There's the red on the weekly. That's cool. Let's put it up on Chicago Quant. Where are you? Where'd you go? There it is. There you are. Let's load it up. Bingo, bango, bongo. Yep, moving down a little bit again, going after the 102 area. I think I need a piece of tape. This microphone and headphone set has an issue, but I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. Oh, there we go. So, I guess you hear me fine now, 5 by 5. Let's double check the chat line, see if anybody is paying attention to Doc. That's quite all right. Sometimes I just think I'm a fantasy in my own mind. So, the crowd up there is big. I can just say that in my head. There we go. We go to the chat line. Nope, I don't see anything there, and I can hear me, so this is all good. Oh, no, there you go. There's Robin. There's Mountain West. I like that. Mountain West. I like that's a great name. Mountain West. Sound is better now. There we go. Yep. I love that name. That's cool. In the next civilization, that's going to be one of the starting points. Who knows? That might be like Jerusalem one day. Mountain West, honestly. On the east coast of the mountains of the Rockies. Yeah. Yeah, that could be the next. That could be like the Samaria, It could be like the new part of the new era. It's a great name. It is. It's a great name. I love it. So, what do we got going on today? We got oil popping up. That's for sure. That's kind of fun, huh? Saw that last night as they opened the markets last night. Oil was up like $5. So then I, went to the news to double check what's going on, and the Saudis are just messing with the market the way they can and should, because Mr. Biden wants them to be the main source of oil. And before Mr. Biden, we were the #1 oil producer in the world. And Mr. Biden didn't like that. So he's very, very supportive of whatever the Saudis obviously do, because he's made it that, they're the #1 oil producer in the world, and then the Russian Federation is #2, and then I think we're #3 now. We're only producing like 12 million barrels a day. We have the capacity to produce almost 18 billion. So 18 million. Sorry about that. 18 million. That's where I live, the Rockies. Well, if you're on the east side of it, you'll be fine. Going all the way down to New Mexico will be fine, for the next civilization. So that'll be all right. You might live to see it. All right, where do we go from there? So we're looking at the dollar. There's the dollar on J4X on a weekly basis. Let's take a look at it on a daily basis. Right there. Right there. There we go. And dollar is lifting up a little bit with the Hinky-Ashki. That's why it's green. But you can see over here on Chicago Quant, this is without the Hinky-Ashki because we have a dot there. So we see we have a green dot right there. You can't see that. Let's show you that. There we go. And you can see right there we have a green dot right there. So that's why this is green right there. But and you can see here we went into, I thought we went into the daily buy. I see it was a green and a red. So now we're in the daily buy. On Friday it was a green and a red, which means some action is coming, and obviously you can see it took out the high, it took out the low, so the action did come. And we'll see how they slide it down. We're in a weekly sell here, so you can see the pressure is naturally, as you can see here, on the downwardly slope. The fast moving algorithm started over here and dropped below the zero line. That automatically emphasized pressure coming. Then the slow joined in with the green. That's what the green is, and there you go. It's down, down, and away. Yeah, that's a good spot to be. There's something called Observer's Ranch. Stop in and say hi to them. Good people. They're classic Americans, constitutionalists. Yeah, Observer Ranch with instead of an O for observer, it's a 0, which is really cool. And it's like 0-point modules. Anyway, that is where it's at. Yeah, Observer Ranch. Stop in and say hi. They're preparing for the next civilization. Just like Mr. Bezos is doing. He's preparing one on a mountain range in West Texas. And, it's just kind of the thing that goes on now. What else can we say about the dollar? I guess, the dollar's looking fine. Obviously, the currencies, the pairs trades overall, like euro against dollar and so forth, and cable against dollar, British pound, better known. I'm not sure which one is better known anymore, cable or British pound, but in the end result, the British pound is, showing nice firmness. The Swiss franc is rallying back from the calamity of the banking problem they had, and all's good. It's all good. The numbers are moving in the right direction. Everything's happy, healthy. No surprises here, Mountain. This is what we do here every day. We show you the real marketplace, and we show it through the eyes of J4X with public indicators, and then we do our proprietary math over there on the right side. Kind of like good old chain-smoking Jimmy from Renaissance. And that's the name of the game here. So, from the dollar index, let's slide over to the euro and see how the euro is doing. And, Mountain, if you have a desire to see any particular product, be it IBM or, the Japanese yen or, the 30-year bond, just say it. We'll put it up there. Or crude oil. Any of them. We follow it all. We know and we see all. And so let's go to the euro. And there's the euro right there. Is that the euro right there? There's the euro right there. There we go. You see it's made a low and now it's bouncing up today. And we're in that daily buy for the last 4 days. You can see the math has been good. And you can see we slid into a weekly buy here on the slow. And the fast joined in back in here at the lows here. So that's where we stand there. Oh, what's Mountain got to say today? I never know Jimmy from Renaissance smoked. Oh, God, yeah, chain-smoking Jimmy. I learned something new. Yep, he's over 80, too. Or 80, so it wasn't that bad for his health. It's always funny, when you see that. I always find that interesting, that there are people who smoke, and they live to an old age. I guess they, it's genetics, and it's one size. I guess the best way to describe it is one size does not fit all. Can the coffin nails kill you? Definitely. Did they kill everybody? No. I guess the best way to describe everything in life is one size doesn't fit all. Yeah, he's got a second wife. He's a very active little bug. He's your classic liberal, too, at the same time. It's always funny. My neighbor smoked, and she was over 70 and looked the picture of health. Yeah, I know. Isn't that amazing? And that's probably like the answer to it all. It's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. What is it? Number 42 is the the meaning of life. It's the same thing. It's like one size doesn't fit all. And will you die smoking cigarettes, or as we used to call them, coffin nails? Yeah. Will everybody do it? No. Someone will live. It's just the way it is. All right. That's probably what's so wonderful about our math. It's not monolithic. It is dynamic. It's a consciousness. So it meets each individual product or particle or galaxy, our math, and it gives us a good, clean direction, better than, say, Lorenz or Gauss or Euler. That's just the way it rolls. One size does not fit all. Okay, from the euro, let's put the euro up on J4X too. See how she's looking this morning. Looking good, feeling good, Billy Ray. Let's see. Right there is the euro, and you can see there the euro's a little reddish at the moment. The public indicator here is a little bit slower than our work, about a couple hours sometimes, depending on the time frame. But it's better than say MACD and I found another one that I was playing with over the weekend. What is it? Charkin. I've seen his work over the decades, but that's a pretty good one too. So, but it's not as good as mine, but it's good, and it's better than having nothing. That's the other classic, like one size doesn't fit all, and having something is better than nothing. That's the other one. Currency market very active today. I guess it is. I don't know. It looks all right. This is because of the oil, probably. Oil is traded in dollars, the bulk of it. So, when oil gapped up $5 last night, when it did that, that was why the start of the evening or last night, you can see it was way down low. Probably same way with cable. Let's put cable up there. British pound, same thing. It started off. You can see it didn't start off low. Then it went low, as you can see there. Let's widen it out for you a little bit. And so you can see there, it went low after getting rolling along, and now it's up higher, just like the way the euro is. And you can see our math there. We've been in a buy for like 10 days on that, and the fast has been in a buy from back in here. Back at this low, the fast went into the buy. The slow joined in, and since we're looking at dailies and weeklies generally in this webinar, I mean we look, we do it all, but I mean but I really only talk about dailies and weeklies because we're trying to give a conservative point of view. We don't want people to get trapped. We don't like the idea that people use spot overnight. We like the idea that they use options with spot or binaries with spot, things like that. We try not to give a false comfort level of how to trade. We try to give you the smartest way to trade and the safest way to trade, and one that will give you more money than you lose. And that's the name of the game. Always making more than you lose. And so that's why you can see that weakness. And let me show you. Let's go take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Crude Oil for a moment. Right there. You can see right there, it's basically sitting where it started from last night. It went up a little bit, went down a little bit, but it's pretty much sitting there. And what's funny is you can see our weekly has rolled over. It went into a weekly buy, both the daily, the fast and the slow. It gaps up. We're in a daily buy, so the math is telling you to be long. And if you have a position on and you're obviously happy today when you're following our math and our point of view, I guess you could say. And then you can see here, this will clean up. It'll probably start to drift up like a helium balloon. We'll start to see the math turn up a little bit here over the next couple of days on the weekly. This is the weekly down at the bottom. This is the daily. And then we show you a daily chart to give you a flavor of the price itself. So, but, that's just so we can talk about it more. But overall, the most important things is this and this. They're the important factors because they tell you where to be, where the trend is, which way. It's like the 11-year cycle on the sun. It's there every year, every 11 years, no matter what you think or do or say, it's there. So the same thing here. Our math is always there. Let's see. Mountain says currency market oil has been drifting down. I know. Well, I thought the last time we went into the weekly sell back in here in the 70s or 80, I guess it was up in here, and we got into that daily sell there up near the 80. I thought for sure we were going to hit the 62 area this time, but we got the 65 stopped, And I guess that's the drop deadline for the Saudis. So the Saudis basically said, no, no, no. We're not going to have any of that. And since Mr. Biden wants them to be the world's swing producer, whatever the Saudis say is what will go in the end. So he's a very big supporter. I guess I don't know. Maybe he gets money from them. Probably gets money from everybody. So that's going to be interesting over time too, to watch how well he's been paid over the decades by everybody. I guess sooner or later that issue will come up. It always does in America somewhere along the line. So in the end result is that you can see the strength in the oil. It's been interesting. It got down in here in this low bottoming area right there. And, dug its heels in, and I was like, oh, man, I'm looking for 62, and it's at 65, when it was up at near 80. It's like, but being off a few bucks doesn't mean much. It was only an opinion, because in the end we trust the math before we trust my opinion. And I know that. I do. But it's always fun to wish, There's no praying in trading, but there's lots of wishes. Let's see. Oh, what do we got there? We got J.A. Hey, what's happening? Howdy, howdy. Let's see. Mountain says, but now with the gap up, it goes up for a while now? Well, I'd imagine so. We'll see. See how our weekly is trying to roll over? It's not exactly confirming. We've been in a daily buy now for almost 10 days. So the math has been picking up the fact that they were going to go do this. And they did it. There's an old classic saying on Wall Street. It's buy on rumor, sell on news. And I think the picture basically of the chart there describes it very well. It's buying on rumor. And our daily went into a buy. And the money was coming in more and more and more. Demand was greater than selling, more buyers and sellers. And then the end result is you get the final finale. And this is the final finale. This is the end of the fireworks. You can see the height of the fast. It's way up here. It's really exploded. Let's see if we can get bigger for a second here. And I don't think you see those things jump that high. There's one right there. Jumped high right there. Can you see that? I think you can see that, yeah. And then it topped out a little bit, gave some bottoming, and then turned back up again. Fell down about $5 or $6. So we'll probably fall back down into the mid 70s or something like that, and then we'll probably find another move up, because if the swing producer says they're not lowering the that they are lowering inventory, then there's going to be pressure on the upside. So, time for Biden to retire? I don't know. We'll see. See what the voters say. To me, I never liked the guy to begin with. He's only, a stone throws away from me, so he's not that far. He's just across the river and just 10, 15 miles away. So he's been an irritant like a pearl is in an oyster for a long time to me. He's always lying and cheating and doing all kinds. I love that when he stole he plagiarized Neil Kinnock, the labor leader, and then he did the same thing to Tony Blair. And he's a character. He'll lie to you. That's why he's president. There is no Democrat that is as bold as Joe Biden. There is no Democrat out there that can walk the middle of the road and act indignant when he is caught with his fingers in the cookie jar. He is been that way all his life. I remember what he used to say in the early years as a senator when he played basketball in high school. He said, I always start off with the guy that I was paired up with, and I find a way to give him an elbow and give him a bloody nose. Just elbow his nose. This way he knew that he wanted to stay a little further back from me. That's Joe Biden. I remember when Trump was running for election, he threatened Trump. This is in 16, 17. He told Trump, I'd like to take you out underneath the bleachers and pound you. That's Joe. But the media loves that. They love that Democrat violence. They love that Democrat swagger. They love that Democrat aggressiveness. They love it, and you see it. So when you say time for Biden to retire, not as far as the major media in the United States is concerned. They think he's the cat's meow. He's cool. He's the moon doggy. I think I would trust your daily buy. It's basically called the bottom of the last. Oh yeah, it does it all the time. If you come and watch our webinars or look back on the videos, you'll see our math is. We document our math every day. I have over almost 3,000 videos out there at this point, documenting live trading every day. No imaginary stuff here. This is real. This is the real deal. So, let's see what else we got to say about any of the others. I guess that's about it. So I guess now it'll be really the dance of the swing trader, which is now Saudi Arabia. And they passed HR1. I think that's probably part of it. The House of Representatives passed HR1. When was it? It was Thursday. And so HR1 is trying to make Biden free up American oil again and get back to being the swing producer. And so what's basically happening is that this must be the Saudis reminding Mr. Biden that he should sign the bill. Now, will he sign that bill? I think it'll pass in the Senate. You know, the House of Representatives passed it, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to get around the veto proof. They have about 50 Democrats that will probably vote with it, so it's going to be very close. It'll be a very close vote to override the veto. So we'll see, but that's what's going on. Really, the real story. I guess that I'm saying it out loud from my thought. The real story today is HR1 passed. We talked about that here in the webinars for the last week and a half now, waiting for it to go to vote, and passed on Thursday. So the Saudis over the weekend thought, you know what, we're going to smack Biden in the head a little bit. We'll remind him that you can sell from the reserves, but we can just reduce our production, and everything you did means nothing. That's pretty much what it comes down to. That's what it does. It's funny as all get out. I think I would. Yep. So that's where we are. All right. What's the next product to go after? Let's go take a look at the next currency. What we do. We do this rhythm, and I don't need to do the rhythm. I just have to do something consistent to have a structure. But there's nothing stopping us from stopping what I'm looking at and going on. Just like now we looked at oil. We never look at oil until like a half hour from now. But it is the story today. So we went there. And if anybody wants to continue that conversation, we can have it. Because notice, it made me think. And what happened, my little pea brain came up with was they passed HR1. And what did the Saudis do over the weekend? Basically, well, you got to figure it's Ramadan, right? So you got to figure when they passed it in the United States, it was already Friday in Saudi Arabia. So what did they do on the first day of the week to them? On Sunday, they cut back supply. And there's the cause and the effect. And that's what our math does. It shows the cause and the effect before it happens. It's a consciousness. It's a measuring something on a surface. We have no idea what the surface is. We know what the objects are. So what it does is it straightens out quantum mechanics in the sense of instead of where or when, it's where and when. And whereas poor quantum mechanics, thank you, Dr. Schroeder, with the kitty cat telling us that quantum mechanics and the Copenhagen project was wrong to begin with, and that's why they used the kitty cat and try to prove that Schroeder agreed with them, I don't know, but Schroeder was against the Copenhagen decision, and that's why he created the analogy of a cat alive or dead in a box. He was making a joke, and instead, what's modern science back then do? They gravitate towards it like it's a proof that it was true. And that's what we do here at the webinar. We only say things and do things that we can prove, and then has historic evidence. So when Mountain said, I think I would trust your daily buy, it's basically called the bottom of oil last month. And also the fast-moving algorithm right here. which product is this? This is a Swiss franc. So you can see here the Swiss at the very top of the banking situation. Again, the fast broke underneath. The slow goes, it's kind of like the donkey going in and out. It's kind of. But I'm trying to give solid advice for a linear approximation type of situation. In other words, down the road, and we don't want traders to get in trouble. And we always remind them, don't go hard delta. In other words, don't just trade the spot with a stop. Try to marry it to a derivative, like an option derivative or binary derivative. So that is that. Just remember, traders, you're allowed to ask me any question on the planet. We're always willing to tell you yes, no, or we don't know. There's always 3 directions on that. It's one or the other or the other. The other and the other and the other. All right, from there we go over to the yen. A little more strength than I've been expecting, but today seems like it's trying to tell us that we're getting to a top when you get a green and a red like that. As you see right there, you see that pressure on it. It tells us the volatility is coming. You can see here the algorithm is breaking down here, going towards the 0 line. It's just 0.01. And as you can see here, it's been in the weekly sell since back in here. And it's trying to lift. It's doing a little curving. Notice the fast is moving up, but the slow is so far underneath the time linear. This is our negative linear time manifold. And then this is a positive linear time manifold. And so what they do is they're mirror images, and it shows you like oversold, overbought. So when it's down below it, you know that it's becoming oversold. Give you a good view of that, like that. Way down here, and what's happening right there. So, what about gold or silver? Yeah, I'm hip. Let's check it out. I love that people asking me to go jump around. Believe me, I do. Variety is the spice of life. And there is, let's see, what's the first one you asked for? Oh, gold. Did you say gold or silver first? You said gold. Okay, so there is gold. Gold. So you can see right there, it made a low from that excitement, and now it's popped itself back up and is up for the day. We've been in the weekly buy since back in here at the lows of the 1800 area for this particular move on the weekly. And, you see the daily goes in and out. When we're in a weekly buy and a daily buy, it's usually a pretty safe trade there. That's what it's all about. When they join together and then you see the sell here, you don't take a short because you just take a profit or, just get ready for the next long. That's what it comes down to. Then when you get a pop here, in this case here, we got the buy here. It went up a little bit, like $9, $10. That's all it did the next day and then rolled over. Gives you a chance to make a profit and get out at the same time. And then you get the sell again, but you're not going to get short. And in this case here, it goes into the buy here. It does the same thing, goes up about $7, $8 from the next day and then rolls over again. And in this case here, it's telling you, don't be short. You don't have to be long. Remember, you can be long, you can be short, or you can be neutral. It's all 3 ways. I was and is a straddle trader and for 40 some odd years. So I'm an odd type of straddle trader. I can build a straddle out of anything. And so, the idea is to basically be able to benefit from the action, take your profits and run. So that's gold. Now let's give Mountain silver. I think there's a silver company named that, something Silver Mountain or something like that, Mountain Silver. There is silver. Same thing. They knocked it down from the oil situation. You can see we're in that weekly buy, so you don't really want to be short it, that's for sure. And you can see we've been in the daily buy since there, and we had a little hesitation there, and then back in the saddle again. That line should be over here somewhere, like that. And there it is. It's been in that buy since, and tried to roll over a little bit, nothing major. Unfortunately, the metals complex. I had a old trader text me over the weekend about this. Someone's been a floor trader like myself, a chairman of an exchange, that type of thing, very experienced fellow, sent me over an article about gold, and I responded back to him and I said, I still in my heart, I have to say, and even part of my head, I really believe gold should be around 10,000 an ounce. It should be between 5,000 and 10,000. That's for sure. Not fighting for its life under 2,000. And it's the same thing with silver. Silver should be 40, 50, 35 at least. It should be a base should be in the 40s or 30s, and it should run up to the 70s. It should have a lot more heart and action in it. But and the analogy of this statement that I'm making is because all the funds, all the mutual funds, all the hedge funds, all the every fund that's out there has it in their incorporation manifesto that if gold and silver go to X, up certain heights, they have to liquidate some of their stock position, or they have to hedge their stock position. And so, it's one of the old leftovers of the fundamentals. And, because it's an inflation barometer. And so, so what happens is that the central bank, now that it's a QE world, and they've taken the role of the specialist and the funds, and the central banks across the planet are now the buyer of last resort. They're the traders now that run the markets, and so they can't let gold go where everybody and their mother thinks it should be. Even when you try to buy physical gold, it's way higher than what they traded at the exchange. And matter of fact, there's been articles since the Credit Suisse problem and the Deutsche Bank problem over the last 3-4 weeks. There's been articles about the COMEX. Remember they stopped the London market because the London market was in very much great peril of problems, and so that doesn't exist anymore. So now the only one left is really COMEX, or I guess you could say the ICE, the International Continental Exchange. Those two future exchanges, and probably Life, same thing, on some level maybe. They are they're the ones that are in dire risk because they don't have the inventory for what they trade. They call it paper certificates now, or paper warrants. So in other words, the people who are trading gold are not really backing it up with gold. They're backing it up with a paper warrant that says that they have the gold. That's what's sitting in the vault. So it makes it even worse. So that's why you look at the metals complex and say, geez, why isn't it functioning right? And that's the reason why. Gold might be getting close to topped out. I don't know. I know one thing. Out of all my opinions, beside my opinion versus the math itself, let's go back to the chart on gold. Right there. Gold, more than likely, will be a little bit firmer, but it won't move like a rocket ship. It'll just move like a turtle. I kind of doubt the central banks will allow it to do anything but that, since there's a problem. In other words, they want the equity markets and the bond markets and everything to be relatively healthy. So they can't afford to have gold going to what I would call its fair value. In other words, if you asked an economist, I don't care what economist you asked, it could be a socialist economist in 2006, 2 years before 2008 and the collapse of the global financial system. If you asked an economist and you described to them what 2009 would look like, where, Merrill Lynch is gone and Lloyd's of London is out of business, and, in other words, all the Bear Stearns is gone, Lehman's gone, Wachovia is gone, Santander's gone, Deutsche Bank is gone. In other words, all these companies that are in name only now because they're owned by strong parents. Oh, Citibank is gone. These companies are all bankrupt still to this day, but they still exist because they're owned by a parent, be it like Merrill Lynch is owned by Bank of America, or Bear Stearns is owned by J.P. Morgan Chase, or Wachovia is owned by Wells Fargo. In other words, the ones that didn't go bankrupt from the collateralized debt obligation collapse. You ask the economist and you say, okay, where would gold be if we lost all these companies and a third of the world's assets were destroyed? Well, I bet almost every economist would tell you that they probably would figure gold would be, $5,000 or $10,000 an ounce. I would have a hard time believing they wouldn't, but they don't. You barely ever hear anybody talking about it because they're part of the quantitative easing world now. So they know that in reality, that the central bank, who's taken over for the New York specialists and the fund managers and the mutual fund managers and the hedge fund managers, hence why the Federal Reserve lends Citadel $1 billion a night for free for them to hold positions. And so because of that, you don't have 5,000 gold or 10,000 gold. So when you look at it now and you say, well, maybe it's going to top out, it's like, yeah, that's possible. But will it really fall too far down? No. Maybe it'll go back to the 17s or 18s. Maybe they're moving. Maybe the level is being moved up, so the lows are being moved up. Maybe now the basically something like the 18 to 24 area is now the new base in silver. Maybe we'll never see silver again below that. And for gold, we'll probably never see, just like when gold ran to 500 and then fell back to 200, and now it's at 19, almost 2,000. Maybe 1,500 is going to be, or 1,600 is going to be the base for the metals, because it's all controlled by the central banks. And so that's the answer to it all in the end. It's whatever the central banks want it to do, it will do. And then you look at the United States Federal Reserve, it's the largest gold holder in the world. Almost controls. You take the next 10 largest gold holders, and we have more gold than them put together. So everybody's going to have to sing the song of the Federal Reserve. That's how it is. And since what's his name, General de Gaulle, when he was Prime Minister or President de Gaulle, he threatened to exercise dollars into gold. We dropped the gold standard. I mean, that's the answer to it all in the end. Paper, paper, paper. You can print. There's so many more trees than there is gold. All right, at least on Earth. It's out in space. There's a lot of it. From there, we go to, where were we? We're at the yen, right? So let's go back to the yen. I hope I answered your question with the gold. Will it be a topping out? Possibly. The math will tell us in the end. Let's see, what do we got here? There's the yen. Okay, yeah, so it's it's just puttering around on the upside. I think it's going to try to roll over here. We'll see. There's the daily trying to break down, and the fast is trying to lift up, but the slow isn't. So I don't have much faith in that. Now let's drive over to the Turkish lira. It's been in a buy for 4 days. Been in a weekly buy for a few weeks now. Fast has been in there for a week or so more. I would imagine a lot of that foreign aid that came in because of the earthquakes is probably drying up. That's the way I would view it. Now, from there, we go to two currencies that seem to match. CAD has been telling us that oil is going up, and we've been saying that's been trying, and then finally on Friday it went into the weekly sell. It's been in the daily sell for 8 or 9 days. And sure enough, as we usually do, we put an oil chart up on the screen. We'll do it on J4X. There we are. There's West Texas Intermediate, and you can see the trend has been the upside, and the trend on the dollar, Canadian dollar against the US dollar, has been on the downside. That's the way it's supposed to go. That's their natural tendency there. Now, from there, we go over to the South African Rand, and we'll put that up right there. And then you have over here, let's put Mr. and Mrs. Gold up right there. And we know that this thing is, there's your sideways action mountain that you're talking about, the topping type thing. Could be a base. Could be a plateau that's going to lift to another level. Will they allow it? Let's see. What is going on politically right now? Let me think. Can they allow it to go to new all-time highs? Probably. The elections are still a little distance away, so they may let it go up to all-time highs. And remember the relationship between gold and oil and so forth. The Saudis are probably figuring, let's give Mr. Biden a little punch. Maybe he was asking for too much money. Who knows? They have a committee in the House of Representatives now investigating all that. And they keep on finding all this money. He's been getting money from 11 different entities, but he doesn't pay taxes on it. And it's in the millions. So sooner or later, they're going to figure that one out. So that's the Rand there. And the Rand was moving down. Now, that's a little disturbing right there. Let's widen that out a little bit for you. But when the Rand used to, until the political turmoil that ignited back in October of last year, that's why we have that written in there, politics, $500,000 in cash. Ever since that, between the banking system and the political problems in South Africa, the Rand has not been the exact tool. It was the best tool. I'm telling you. It was the best tool. And when it went down and gold was up, let me say it the other way around. When the Rand went down against the dollar, in other words, made money against the dollar, and gold was down, you could buy gold and it would go up, like an hour or two later. It was great. Now with the politics, it's got it all tumbly. And you can see here they knocked it down on Friday, telling us that gold is going up. And then you can see here they pushed it up from the news. And you can see it's trying to lift again here. Again, that's like another answer to your gold question. If we see, the Rand get down to 17, stay in a matter of fact, it's been, where's the red line? Let's steal one of the red lines. I'll put one in there. No. Yeah, it's been in a sell now from here. Let's widen that out. So I think it's one over. It's been in a sell from there. So, you can see it breaking down, but they're already hesitating here. So we'll see how that plays out for the day. Let's move the zero line down. There's the zero line. And we'll see how it plays out. But it's not a good sign when we see the South African Rand gaining or losing. When it goes up, it is losing against the dollar. And that's probably something to keep an eye on there. All right. From there, where do we go from there? We finish off with what may be the #1 BRIC nation. And that is the Mexican peso. There's talk of the Mexican peso joining the BRICS. We really think that if they join the BRICS, it'll be the top currency in the BRICS. And so that'll really help out the ruble, and it'll help out or we like to call that the currency that will not be named. And it'll help out probably the Brazilian real, and it'll help out obviously the Chinese yuan, because they're really weak currencies. I mean, the yuan only is 3% of world volume at this point. So you can see here, this is the Mexican peso. They announced they were possibly joining the BRICS. I don't know what has happened. The thing exploded up, started losing against the dollar when it happened, and then got quiet here. Maybe they're changing their mind. Maybe they don't want to be tangled with weak economies like the Russian and the Chinese markets, or the Brazilian one. So I don't know if they've changed their mind. There's no talk now. And so you can see here, though, that the weekly is trying to... We got a really couple... This is very strange. You rarely see sharp moves like this, where the slow is moving up and the fast is moving down, like, very aggressively. And so it's kind of odd what's going on there. And I guess, we'll see over the next, week as it plays itself out. The daily is telling us that whatever is going on, it is definitely gaining against the dollar. That's for sure. That's what it's telling us at the moment. Mountain says, yay, my gold short is in profit now. Good. Take the money and run. So definitely. I don't have a lot of faith in any of it, because it's all central bank run. And as I said, the central banks don't benefit by allowing gold to really run the way it should. So, it makes sense. It does make sense. And so from there, we go back to the metals, and we take a walk around the neighborhood there. So we have here, there's April, and you can see there, we know what's going on there. And then we go to, we've seen silver right there, same situation, it's breaking down too. Let's take a look at copper. There's the copper. Copper has been warning us on a daily basis, don't believe in the strength out of the weekly, which is really odd. So it's got that plateau thing going on too. Metals are really having issues at the moment. They really are. It's very odd, but they are. Let's what do we do here? Let's go find. There it is, right there. Let's put that in there. I want to save it at the same time. And then we go take a look at platinum. Platinum stayed in that weekly buy. You know, we're always concerned about that. You know, the rest of the metals complex is not going to be happy if platinum at least doesn't stay in the buy, and it's still in the buy there. You see the fast and the slow staying up. You know, it's been in, you know, the fast has been in a buy since back in here in the 950 area, 60 area, and ran to, you know, over 1,000, and you know, it's kind of stumbling along at the moment. We've been in a daily buy since the low here, and we'll see. You know, it'll be very interesting. George says, "Hey George, good morning to you, Doc. Wheat and corn spread looking interesting." I know, and you see red wheat, Kansas City wheat, that closed in a weekly buy last week. Maybe going lower, but keep an eye on it on the daily. Well, Robin was telling me that the planting is the lowest since 1972 or something like that. Hey, let's put, since you're saying that, George, let's go take a look at it. Let me see if we can, let's find it. Hold on a second. Open workspace. Where's that at? Right there. Let's take a look at the hourly. Is that the which one are you watching? Both, or are you watching? Let's see, which one's on the hourly? The wheat, or the corn, or both? Here's our intraday page. Let's go check it out. We got what do we got here? Let's do this. Let's take that. And what this is gas line 3. And so in a very fast intraday game, they both have to be in line, like the way weekly and dailies are. So in other words, it went into the buy right here and has been in the buy all the way up to, it's flirting with the sell at the moment right there. It flirted with the sell there, but did not go into the sell. So in other words, they both have to be below the zero line to choose that direction. Now let's put that up there in corn. And we'll put an hourly one up there for you. Let's see, corn. ZK. There we go. Now let's put the hourly up there. There it is. Here comes the hourly. Let's go back like 10 days or something like that. There we go. So went into the buy on an hourly right here at the 950-ish area. I'm sorry, 650-ish area. It has been in the buy all the way up until, well, looks like last night. Fell into a sell on this plateau thing. And for 3 hours it was there, and then now it's climbed back into the buy again right there. We got that upwardly strength out of it, and now it's flirting as we get. It's ready to start trading. Well, the exchange trading starts in another 10 minutes. So you can see here they're playing with the little downside at the moment. They're trying to put pressure on it. And let's go back and give you a better flavor of it. There's 10 days of it. You can see there, you know, it goes into the weekly buy. Or I'm sorry, the daily buy, intraday daily buy off of this. Then it gaps up, or not gaps up, but it runs firm for, you know, 10 10 cents or 20 cents, something like that. But this has been a really, a pretty aggressive move. I guess that's the oil thing, isn't it? They knew it was coming. George? Because of the ethanol. Daily and weekly waiting for a crossover of the 50-day moving average. Oh, you want me to I can put a corn up with a 50-day moving average on that. You want that? You want to see that? Let's see. Where do I go? I go right here. Let me close this. Yes. And then let's go and open corn. We'll put a 50 moving average into it for you. Open workspace. Right there. And then here's the 50. There's May. And we'll put in a 50-day moving average. Cancel. Insert. Indicator. Add 50-day moving average. Moving average, so it's probably in the M's. Moving average. There it is. Single line. Moving average single. See the box here? You want the length to be 50? Is that what it is? Like that? Is that the input of it? There we are. Close. Okay. Yeah, there it is right there, jumping up to it again. And then you can see, well, we went into the weekly buy back in here, and it ran up to the weekly moving average and then got through it, but then failed. Then we slid into a sell with that weekly average, the moving average right there. And then, I guess, does this tell you anything? I guess you follow it. Does it make any sense to you? So does that make sense there? Oh, on an hourly. Sorry about that. Did I put it in the hourly? Let's go to the hourly. Because I just put an hourly up there. Okay, so let's put it in there. Indicator. Add. Now, let me do this. Let me put soybeans, since we're looking at grains. Let's go to soybeans, too, for J4X, because we can put that up there. So that traders in Dukascopy can look at that, and we'll go to soybeans after we do this. Now I just have to find it. Soybeans, there it is. So there's soybeans. That's the front month. Now let's get the moving average in there for you. There we go. Okay, so it's cyan. That's the moving average, isn't it? That's the cyan color. So how about if we make it something that screams like pink or something like that? This way we can see it much clearer. Or there's no green one up there, so when we do like this one right there. There we are. And then we'll make it fat too, so you can see it better. There we are. Yeah, so it rode that, didn't it? And then got into the buy and took off. It's been in that buy for hours, since Friday morning. Oh no, I lost the picture. Let's go connect it again. There we are. So there it is right there. Does that help out now? Oh, good. I'm glad. Silver? Sure. What's up? We were just talking about silver too. We may have mentioned anything you were interested in. Let's go to silver. Do you want to see silver in the 1 hour chart? We can do that. Let's go there. Yeah, they were breaking down this morning at one point. Silver was breaking down. Now it's failed at it, or at the moment it has. There's silver there. Yeah, it has that red dot, and at one point I think it was when it was a little bit lower, it almost was at the zero line. It just means there's pressure on it, just like there was here. Doesn't we would need it to close the histogram and down below the zero line, or the green line below the zero line, either one of them, which would be, they always work together. They're only there's two of them there so that you can see the time manifolds. That's what it shows you, the extremes to the time manifold. Yeah, the daily. Yeah, there's the daily right there. You see that? Right, exactly. There's pressure on it, which would make sense. As I was saying before you came in, the central banks got to put pressure on the metals complex. They cannot let it get out of hand, or it hurts the funds. They have to put pressure on the stock market and the bond market. They have to sell some of their positions, because in their manifesto of incorporation, they'll get sued if they don't. So the Fed knows what it is. It keeps track of that. No problem. All right, traders. Where else do we go? I guess that's about it. Let's go take a look at natural gas. Here's crude oil. You see it here. It's keeps on hitting the 80 and backing off. And you can see the weekly is all over the place. We got the fast through. Went into the weekly buy last week and the daily buy, and gaps up, and what's it do? It starts to tell us don't trust it. That's cool. And then so at the same time we go over to natural gas right there. And natural gas, look at the tightness of the manifold. I mean, it's going to erupt like a volcano. And it's been in that weekly sell, from back in here. So it only lasted like 2 weeks in a weekly buy from this move here. You see it went into the buy here and daily buy and so forth. So it's been interesting. Natural gas, they're paying $2 here in the States for natural gas. In Europe, they're paying something like $27 for it. Let's go take a look at that again. Where is it at? Nat gas. Oh, I want to look at the oil company down in Spain. They're the best indication of where nat gas is in Europe. Oh, I heard the vote on Friday or something like that. There it is. Nat gas is trading at 27 and change. It was threatening the 28. I heard that in Berlin there was a vote on zero emissions or something like that. 82% of the people voted against it. 18% voted for it. And the green people were totally like distraught. They can't believe that they lost so big. We have to worry about the sun in the sky way more than we have to think about oil production, that's for sure. Or let's put it this way, use of oil. Not oil production, but use of oil. Or coal. So, I guess I've answered as many questions as anybody wants. Let's see. So silver is being manipulated and gold too. Oh yeah, well, they have to. They don't have a choice. Central banks can't allow them to float naturally. That's why when you look at gold, back month gold that can't be exercised is trading for like $100 and $200 more an ounce. I mean, they're not just trading for like $3 more an ounce or something like that. Back 2-year gold right now is trading at all-time highs. They can't be exercised, so no problem. All right, what else we got going on? I guess that's about it. So this is Doc from North America. The New York bell is hitting as we speak in a matter of now. Let's see how they look, how they're starting off the stock market. Let's go like that. We'll minimize that thing right there. And there is the intraday quiet. You can see that. It's been locked. Just in like a $3 range for over an hour. And you can see here they're trying to back it off a little bit. We're playing with the volume indicator right now. It's been very insightful. Matching it up to our math. You can see the stock market is kind of sideways up at the moment. It's down, I don't know, maybe How much is it down? Only $4 or $5 on the S&P. It's trying to get into a sell here now. Let's see if they knock it down. Nope, right back in the buy again. See, it's been in the buy on this, but it's trading so tight. Just $1 or $1.50 range. That's it. So there's no conviction in there. Look at it. It's trying. The math is trying. It's trying to tell you to be long, and it's trying to climb. But it's obviously being matched up against some sellers. But they're losing the sellers because they're not using Doc's math. And you can see the volumes coming in for it too. So it's been in the buy since this point there in the 33s, or 32 and was that 33 and a quarter, and now we're touching 36. Right there. There's 36. Still in the buy. All right, traders, we're done. What's this? George says, so the back months tell you more of the true story. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, here, let's see if I can show it to you really quick. Just a good example of it. I'll show you back months, and you'll see it a couple $100 higher, if I can find the mouse. Where's the mouse at? And then I'll get out of here. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. Right, where's trading? Right there, and right there, and here she comes. We're going to throw this up on the screen. Here she comes. And there it is. There is April gold, 1977, right there. You can see that. See? Then you go over here, take a look at April gold in 24, trading at $2,064. Matter of fact, they're selling it as we speak, pushing it down a little bit. And then you look at 25. They have a June contract. There is trading at $2,163. Then you go, look at December of you go to June of 26, and it's at $2,200. And then you go back to June. There's $2,242 right there. So in other words, they can't get exercised. Matter of fact, December of 28, it's trading at $2,300. And so is June, $2,276. So, they can't exercise it. So they can't exercise it. They can't manipulate it. And that's what the answer is. All right, traders. This is Doc. Catch you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Tuesday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Yippee-yi-yay.